Hello, welcome to Shadows, Shadow. Always a pleasure to be with you. My name is Emmanuel CHIANGONG, your host. And today, beautiful Friday evening, we have this other very sensitive discussion. It's okay to say no. It is okay to say no. And we have beautiful contributions in terms of the different parameters of the well-being and the healing journey through beautiful music, lovely literature from one great fellow who would just bring a lot of peace in our souls concerning the very issues that twist and turn our minds even in this country. And of course, before we move on, let us welcome you with the Shadows Creed. Shadow, 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 where are you? I am here. I am shadow, I am shadow. I am in you, I am with you, I am visible, I am invisible. Everyone, everything has a shadow. It grows and matures with us as the days move on, changing in lengths and angles from birth to death. My shadow stays with me, appearing and disappearing. When I'm invisible, I am under you, and we call that midday. And when I am longest, I am impressive, and we call this the dawn or the twilight. The shadow is that part of us, that part of our story and memory we are not proud of. That part of our experience we are not very comfortable with. It can as well be the element of pride, contempt, and arrogance we ignore or are not aware of. The shadow can also be that talent, that gift, that special energy you carry that you ignore or are afraid to liberate and let the world take advantage of. The shadow is also that area of peace and solace when the day's challenges are so hitting on us, like the midday sun. You move into that shadow, under that tree, to chill and to have some peace. It can as well be all of this. The shadow haunts us. It scares us, makes us shiver, revealing our doubts, fears, and our uncertainties. Shadow, you make us question our outcome. You are really hard to bear at times. We resign and surrender to you as we realize shadows will always be there with us. Whenever you have the shadow, know the light is close by. We only have the dark because there is the light. The shadow is the product of the light. When you have the shadow, look to the opposite and you will see the light. Don't look to the shadow, don't look to your pain. Look to the wisdom, the grace that comes on the other side of your pain. Ask your pain to lead you to the light that changes your life. Bring us your shadow, bring in your shadow. Finally, let your shadow come to rest. Finally, let them build a purpose in your life. Let your shadow be, let your shadow be. Let your shadow be light. Smile. Once more, dear viewers, it's always a pleasure to come to you with another great topic. Today, we are discussing about no, the answer no. We welcome you to start a spiritual journey with two great religious bodies, the Christians and the Muslims, who are all in their fasting period. The Ramadan for the Muslims and the Lent season for the Christians. A great mission to search for their God by making a big statement of no. It's okay to say no. They have said no to all the pleasures of this world that infest our five senses throughout the year, and they come at one period to question the necessity of all these pleasures of the world. Does it end there? Is that all that matters? And they have said no to the pleasures so that they can focus on this inward spiritual journey to find their God. And they say no, no, no. When you say no, what were you expecting when you said no? Were you expecting the worst to happen? Did you say no and you regretted afterwards? Did you say yes in the place of no and you regretted? Did you say no just to see if the intentions were real and good? Did you worry that your no was going to hurt somebody? How often do you say yes just to please others? Are you in pain because You said yes. Did it enslave you? Did you say yes under duress or intimidation? No combats the dangers that come with a yes. Think of some of the great men who have walked this world and the price they had to pay for saying no. Patrice Lumumba, Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, Steve Jobs, and in the case of our father Mandela, this great example that the world will never forget. We remember the speech in the Supreme Court in Pretoria, the 20th of April 1964. I am prepared to die. Mandela stood in the dock and he said, during my lifetime, I have dedicated myself to this struggle of the African people. I have fought against white dominance. I have fought against black dominance, I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all people live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal for which I hope to live for, and it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. What a great speech. He said no. We want to listen to a great message from a beautiful lady, Patterson. Patterson is running the program, The Beloved Women. Christina Patterson, who is a wife and a mother. This podcast comes up weekly as a Bible study to empower women who are very busy and may lack lost touch with their God. A global mission for the women's ministry to empower the women with an authentic love for Jesus and casting truth and a lasting truth in God's word. So let us listen to Christina Patterson, how she discusses the no that some of us find difficult to accept. It's okay to say no. Let's listen to Patterson.
Would not have me go through that if there wasn't a really good reason. Now, I don't know what that reason is, and I don't know why our family had to walk through all that pain and suffering that came with it, but I do trust the heart of our Father. Hello, beloved, and welcome to Beloved Women with me, Christina Patterson, where we encourage, equip, and empower women in the love of Jesus Christ and the truth of God's Word. If you're new here, please be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of our beloved videos. And for those of you returning, welcome back. For even more beloved encouragement, including daily audio devotionals, over 500 videos to grow your faith, and guided prayer meditations, be sure to download the Beloved Women app today. We can sometimes wonder if God really answers our prayers, but He always answers. In fact, there are 3 ways that God will always answer our prayers, with either a no, a yes, or a wait. It's up to us to receive His answer and trust Him with it, but He definitely answers. Today, we're starting a 3-part series on the 3 ways that God answers our prayer, and today we'll talk about when God says no. One way God will answer our prayers, specifically our petition to Him, is with a no. Of course, this is not the answer that any of us wants, which is why I'm starting with the no answer first, because generally we want to start with the bad news before we get into the good news and getting what we want. So I want to start with asking you, have you ever been in that situation? Have you ever experienced asking the Lord for something and His answer was no? It's important for us to realize and remember that our prayers are not to treat God like He's some genie out to grant our every wish. That's not what prayer is about. Prayer is about connecting with the God of the universe, the God that saved us so that we can be spiritually filled up and alive. So sometimes when we come to God and we make our requests, God might say, no, that's not for you. And even with all that being said, I want to encourage you that when God says no, He does not take it lightly. A no does not mean that God does not care about what you want. It doesn't mean that He doesn't care about what you're crying out for. It just means He has other plans. It's up to us to choose if we'll trust Him in that truth. I know that some of you have received some really hard no's that are extremely challenging to walk through. You prayed that you would be healed. You prayed that the financial strain wouldn't crush you. You prayed that you would get that opportunity, and it never happened. I'm not taking that lightly and giving you some little just have faith cliche answer. What I am saying is that God's heart, even when his answer is no, is still for you because he is for you. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. The scripture doesn't say it works out when you get a yes or a wait. It says all things. That means even when the answer to your prayer is no, God is saying no because he's still working the situation out for your good and his glory. I want to encourage you to know that we serve a Savior, Jesus Christ, who understands the tension, pain, and suffering of receiving a no from God the Father because he too did before his crucifixion. Jesus prayed to God to take the cup of suffering from him so that he wouldn't have to go to the cross if there were any other way. God didn't answer his prayer with a yes, even to his own beloved son. Why? Because God knew it had to be done in order for us to be saved. In Luke 22, verse 42, Jesus makes his request. Father, if you are willing, please take this cup of suffering away from me. Yet I want your will to be done, not mine. God's desire was not for his son to just suffer. His will was to bring salvation to the world. In the same way, God's will is never for you to be in pain or hurting or sick, but his will is to use that for your sanctification, for your glory, for his good. I've shared with you a little bit about some health challenges that I've had, specifically a debilitating neck injury a few years ago that left me in excruciating pain. I wanted God to heal me right away. I wanted a quick healing, but God said no. And instead, he walked with me through months of physical and massage therapy, all kinds of medical care, and years of nutritional guidance and supplements to get me back on my feet. At the onset of that challenge, I remember thinking about how my children were watching me go through this and seeing their mother in so much pain. That was probably the hardest part for me. But I made a point to have a conversation with my daughter because I wanted to use it as a teaching moment with her to trust God even when bad things happen and to trust him even when his answer is a no in that moment. I said, baby girl, mommy went through a lot of things this year and I was in a lot of pain, but I trust.
Wow, God answers the prayers in three ways. He says no, yes, or wait. And sometimes when the no comes, it is to prepare you for a beautiful moment, which you can see at this moment. He said no to his own son, Jesus, when he asked if he could let the cup pass away. We are at the Lent season and we know about this. Alors aujourd'hui, nous parlons de non. Il vous arrive souvent de dire non quand tout le monde attend un oui. Est-ce que vous avez regretté les non? Ou vous avez dit oui et après souffrir? Est-ce que vous vous êtes trouvé dans une relation où votre oui est devenu le malheur et la douleur que vous allez vivre pendant tout le reste de votre vie? Est-ce qu'il y a des regrets? Est-ce que vous avez peur d'être abandonné? Est-ce que vous avez peur de ne plus être reconnu, de ne plus être accepté parce que vous allez dire non? En psychologie, nous avons compris que le non est une réponse qui renforce la personnalité, qui donne la limite sur les cadres, qui affirme notre position et qui augmente notre estime de soi et qui gère bien notre espace, notre temps et notre énergie. Le non permet à ceux qui sont autour de nous de comprendre que nous avons un point de vue et que nous avons des objectifs et la capacité de les atteindre. Nous savons que le oui est un conditionnement social de l'environnement parce que c'est ce que tout le monde attend de nous. En psychologie, on dit que sachez que si vous avez passé le temps à dire oui, le premier non va rencontrer la foudre parce que tout le monde va se lever et ça sera comme un scandale. Et aujourd'hui, on vous dit il est ok, il est bon de dire non. Rappelons toutes ces grandes personnes qui ont marché sur la terre. Nelson Mandela, Patrice Lumumba, Martin King Jr., Steve Jobs. Tous ces gens ont réussi à dire non et ils ont changé l'histoire du monde. Ils ont dit non au moment où très peu de gens imaginaient qu'on pouvait dire non. Est-ce que vous vous croyez trop petit, trop faible, tellement pauvre, trop misérable, et vous imaginez que le oui qu'on attend de vous va vous sauver? Est-ce que vous voyez qu'il y a quelque chose d'esclavage qui se cache derrière? Est-ce qu'il y a un pressentiment qui vous dit que cette vie qui va faire un petit plaisir, s'il va faire des années et toute une vie de misère? Alors donc, le non est normal. Le non est à applaudir. Le non est à féliciter. Le non est d'ailleurs formidable. Et le non est la grandeur. Nous avons vu, et vous allez continuer à voir, et fait des recherches sur les implications des noms et comment cela peut renforcer et améliorer des oui qu'on a fait dans le passé dans un conditionnement qui n'était pas approprié. Les prochains noms peuvent nous sortir de cet caniveau, de cette misère. Alors aujourd'hui, on dit le non est normal et acceptable. Il est approprié d'ailleurs et le nom de foi est même à applaudir. On dit souvent oui pour l'acceptation, on a peur d'être rejeté, pour l'affirmation et surtout pour être approuvé. Oui, accepte de ne pas être accepté, accepte de ne pas être approuvé, accepte d'être cette minorité qui est dans sa croyance et dans ses affirmations propres. In psychology, we have understood that no is self-asserting. No sets boundaries that respect time, space, and energy. Prioritizing one's needs. Stop following the agreeability. Stop complying when in the uncomfortable. It's a personally empowering and, of course, a road to your well-being. It's a strong sense of self-worth. And yes, it's more the default because we want to meet the conditioning of the society. And always remember that when you say no after many yeses, it's a thunderstorm that will come at you because no one wants to believe that you even managed to say no. Stay cool and stay focused because it's the beginning of the wonderful changes that will compensate for all the yeses that were said in the wrong circumstances and that brought all the darkness into your life. This is one of the moments when you realize money cannot buy everything. No is one of those moments when fear escapes through the back door. When something inside of you, your gut feeling tells you that you have made the right decision. You may be so small and everything looks like Goliath around you and you think that this no will be the end of your existence. Yes, Mandela said it's an ideal I would love to live for, but if it is necessary, it is an ideal I will die for. A community where people have equal opportunities, live in harmony, and meet their objective. The South Africa that we see and today, and the death of apartheid. The no of Mandela was the death of apartheid. And the no of Martin Luther King Jr. was the empowerment of the black community in the United States of America. What is your next no? And what greatness will it bring to our community? As we continue to reflect on the beauty, on the wonders, and the greatness of no, I want us to comfort ourselves with a very beautiful rhythm. It will be coming from one great artist. His name is Samuel Alexander Garrett. Samuel Alexander Garrett plays the guitar magically. He has a magical voice. He is as well someone who is really heavily attached to the spiritual movements. He goes through the Rastafarianism culture and Eastern philosophy, and his whole life is in search for appeasement, for holy places. And today he's going to pamper us so that those of us who are in the pain of having said a yes where a no was appropriate will be healed, and from tomorrow come out of that false yes and say the no that will take you to victory and will deliver you. Today, Garrett is going to sing a song which is titled the Upasana, and he's singing this at a satsang that is organized by one of my mentors and great teachers, Moji Baba. Après avoir rencontré le nom qui va te sauver et nous sauver, comme le nom de Martin Luther King Jr. qui a sauvé les Noirs américains et le nom de Nelson Mandela qui a tué l'apartheid et donné une Afrique du Sud libre à partir de laquelle on peut avoir des belles mélodies et des grands africaines, tout ce que vous pouvez imaginer, à partir du nom des grands libérateurs des différentes colonies africaines. Nous sommes motivés à ce moment d'écouter un grand artiste qui s'appelle Samuel Alexander Garrett. Il est un chanteur anglais qui cherche Dieu à travers des endroits saints. Il va chanter, devient l'un de mes mentors et enseignants Moji Baba dans une science d'enseignement. Et il est un bon guitariste, formidable, magicien sur la guitare, une voix adorable et bien sûr, il joue aussi le djembé. C'est un anglais et il suit la culture des enseignements orientaux ainsi que la culture de Rastafarianism. La chanson s'appelle Opasana. Let us listen to Alexandra Garrett, Alex Garrett, or Sam Garrett as he's generally called.
What are you waiting for? Look. What are you looking for? Is there something in the way? Trying to hold on tight to change. Then let go, my friend. The beginning is the end. What you'll come to see is that you will always be. The song remains the same. Opasana, yeah, we dance inside the storm. Sudasattva, we will be forevermore. You are strong, you are wise, you are patient, you are kind. Opasana, yeah, we dance inside the storm. You fight, but what are you fighting for? Knock. Who's knocking at the door? Does it open from within? Are we ready to begin? Then let go, my friend. The beginning is the end. What you come to see is that you have always been. The song remains the same. Opasana, yeah, we dance inside the storm. Sudasattva, we be forevermore. You are strong, you are wise, you are patient, you are kind. Opasana, yeah, we dance inside it. Is there something more to life? Don't tell me you're just here to die when you cannot see behind. For your veil is where you hide. We must all look deep inside. Opasana, we dance inside the storm. Sudasattva, we will be forevermore. I am strong, I am wise, I am patient, I am kind, upasana. Yeah, we dance inside the storm, upasana. Yeah, we dance inside the storm, upasana. Yeah, we dance and we dance and we dance, upasana. Yeah, we dance inside your storm, upasana. Yeah, we dance.
Then we let it go, my friend. That was to comfort those who said yes in the place of no and who put themselves in situations that they are regretting and in pain. C'était Samuel or Sam Garrett. He says, then let go, my friend. The beginning is the end. What you'll come to see is that you have always been. The song remains the same. Let's dance in the storm. Beautiful. Thank you, Garrett. It was just lovely to listen to that song. C'était formidable. Ça vous a apaisé. Vous vous rappelez, lorsqu'on discute, on parle des noms qu'on regrette aujourd'hui. Vous avez dit non, ou bien des oui qu'on regrette aujourd'hui. On s'est dit, après un apaisement comme celui de Garrett, vous allez vous préparer à dire le non là où il faut et de sortir de cette ténèbre, cette obscurité dans laquelle vous voyagez en pensant que les choses vont s'améliorer toutes seules. Non, vous avez un effort à faire. We are going to have a little transition and then we'll move to the commercial break. And like I promised you, we have a great book we have to discuss. And one of those blessed moments when I have the author on seat, that's your biggest surprise. You know, I've been treating a lot of books here, but I can't get to the authors. I have this rare opportunity to be on the altar. Like I'm calling for most great writers in this country to know that the Shadows will be happy to have you on set and to let your story be a healing story, a story that brings peace, love, and harmony to our community. Shadow is a peace mission, it's a spiritual journey, it's a therapy. All of you who write beautiful books that heal the human soul, you are welcome on the Shadows. So let's have the transition and we move to the commercial break.
Due to your passion, do you doubt your natural talents? Do you have free time to idle around each day and more? CHIANGONG Hair Beauty and Fashion School and Academy offers you a successful career. Graduates and school dropouts alike develop competence in hairdressing, beauty therapy, therapeutic massage, special makeup, nail art, spa management, and so much more. An international and bilingual school and academy since 1984. Accredited by the Ministry of Employment and Vocational Training. CHIANGONG Hair Beauty and Fashion. Creativity with discipline. More than 35 years of experience. Head Office 545 Rue Sylvanie Bernabe, Akwa-Douala, Cameroon. Contact +237 675 882872 or 677 856768. Bonamoussadi Agency, Viva Coiffure, Eneo Building Zone A, Douala. Contact +237 653 560196. Facebook, Emmanuel CHIANGONG.
Welcome back, and of course we are going to read, and before we read we need to make sure the lighting is good, and so I need to raise my wig because I have, I'm putting the lamp in the middle as I invite my guests. I'm sure this light is good enough for both of us. Like I said, this is the book we are discussing today, Something More Than Justice. I thought justice was enough. So, well, we have to welcome on stage Mr. Kum Leonard, who is the Managing Director of BT Media Groups, this wonderful magical television station that can be the only one that will bring you wisdom, grace, and a spiritual journey like the Shadows. And of course, he is a writer, a journalist, and a host to 2 programs on My Media Prime TV. He is the head of the Peace House, head and founder of the Peace House, a house that recruits crusaders engaged in the preaching of love, forgiveness, and reconciliation in our communities. Something more than justice, the path to lasting peace is a beautiful, I call it, therapeutic journey carried out by a very vicious medical genius who goes in to actually investigate the pain of the patient, carries out all the diagnoses, take the case to the laboratory, identify the culprits, pick them out in terms of viruses, in terms of bacteria, and of course fungi, and then of course there is everything in this wonderful work in terms of prescription. And now, is the patient going to take the drugs at home or not? Let us welcome Mr. Leonard.
Good evening to all of those watching us tonight. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel CHIANGONG, for inviting me to your program, which is very spiritual, very inspiring, and it looks like, the program looks like finding yourself under a tree.
Oh, beautiful, especially after a hot day.
Yes, that is how I would describe the program.
Thank you
That
so
is
much.
a tree shade,
Okay.
where you walk through the day and you are looking for where to sit and drink some water. So I'm grateful to be part of tonight's edition.
Thank you, Mr. Leonard. I know how tight and very, very tight your schedule is, so we are really honored to have you. I actually felt that I would be doing an on-the-service trying to talk about this book alone on stage. That's why I'm so happy to have you here. Well, the journey to, the path to lasting peace comes up at a moment when our country is in pain, and we have a lot of Cameroonians who are trying to point the finger, and everybody's trying to point the finger. And all the time we have been trying to say you, and the others say, let's say when you point one finger, four is looking at you, all of that. But this is a book that is not actually looking in one direction. One book looking in all the directions. Tell us, what is your therapy when you came up with this book?
When I came up with this book is from the prism that we are too negative.
Okay.
We are too bitter.
Oh.
We are too resentful. We are very, very unforgiving. And I watch across all spheres of life in Cameroon. If you were to walk down the streets of Bonamusadi, and the slightest thing you do to a bike person, he yells at you, is very angry and ready to pounce at you. A taxi man, even the guys driving their personal cars, they're always very wild to react, and nobody is considerate, nobody is moderate at the way they react to situations. And when this conflict actually started in the Northwest and Southwest region, I read through the way everybody reacted to the crisis, and nobody was willing, or very few were willing to actually sit down and understand that, okay, this other person may have made an error for a reason, like I usually also make errors.
Yeah.
Nobody actually sat down to ask themselves whether they were righteous. And what struck me also is the fact that even in the churches, where we expected that what should come out from our pulpits is the message of forgiveness, we also found men of God who went back to the Old Testament preaching eye for an eye, and that anybody who was wrong to you must pay back. But I got actually inspiration from this. Permit me read this from the Bible. That is Matthew chapter 18, 21 to 35. That is the parable of the unmerciful servant.
Okay.
And it reads, then Peter came to Jesus and asked, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? Up to 7 times, he asked. Jesus answered, I tell you, not 7 times, but 77 times. Therefore, The kingdom of heaven is like a king who wanted to settle accounts with his servants. As he began the settlement, a man who owed him 10,000 bags of gold was brought to him. Since he was not able to pay, the master ordered that he and his wife and his children and all that he had be sold to repay the debts. At this, the servant fell on his knees before him. "Be patient with me," he begged, "and I will pay back everything." The servant's master took pity on him, cancelled the debt, and let him go. But when the servant went out, he found one of his fellow servants who owed him 100 silver coins. He grabbed him and began to choke him. "Pay back what you owe me," he demanded. His fellow servants fell to his knees and begged him, "Be patient with me and I will pay back." But he refused. Instead, he went off and had the man thrown into the prison. Imagine this treatment. And when the master who forgave him heard about it, he asked him, he also took him and locked him up and said he was going to pay to the last dime. And that is exactly who we are. We read this in the Bible. Jesus is telling us that the kingdom of heaven is like this. When you ask for forgiveness, God has forgiven us. We all are sinners in front of God. God sacrificed Jesus Christ so that we could stand righteous in front of him. But what have we done? We want an eye for an eye. And I use an example, Mr. Emmanuel. All of us have children in our respective homes. We have relations, uncles, brothers, and sisters. Imagine yourself getting information that your son's told your son did something wrong and was taken to the police or gendarmes. What do you as a parent do? The first thing you go there is to beg with the commandant that please have pity on my son. My auntie did not know what. Can you forgive my auntie? Can we settle? That is the first thing. Can we settle this issue?
Peacefully.
But when it comes to us, we want to take it to court. They must pay to the last. We are doing exactly what Jesus is preaching against. So that is the mindset.
That was the mindset. Yes. On page 41. But justice in this sense cannot be achieved without forgiveness. Forgiveness is not about condoning wrongdoing. It is about breaking the cycle of violence and hatred that perpetuates conflict. So an eye for an eye will just keep the cycle going. And of course, this beautiful story which I've always looked forward to. Think about the story of the woman caught in adultery. As told in John 8:1 to 11. The Pharisees were ready to stone her, seeking to entrap Jesus in their conflict, but instead of condemning her, Jesus diffused the situation with a simple yet profound act. He invited those without sin to cast the first stone. And one by one, they walked away, realizing their own fault. In that moment, he resolved the conflict not through force, but through grace and wisdom. Conflict resolution then is about more than just addressing the issue at hand. It is about restoring relationships and ensuring that peace and justice prevail. Here in Cameroon, we can apply these lessons to our own lives, whether we are dealing with personal dispute or larger societal conflicts. I mean, everybody is in interpellation, as we say. Are you thinking of translating this book? Is there a translation going on? Because I really want every Cameroonian to read this book. The language is simple, and I think that we should buy for our children, at least even from class 1 secondary school, because you have analyzed families, you have analyzed schools, you have analyzed the churches, you have analyzed the corporate bodies. I mean, there is no microorganism that you have not touched in terms of resolution. So I think that we parents should be looking forward to offer this as the Easter present. As the children are coming home for holidays, this is their Easter present. They should read this book, and you people should discuss in the family. Maybe you realize that some of us are just behaving like the guy who was pardoned by the rich man.
What is striking is, Mr. CHIANGONG, I don't know why people are not asking themselves why. You know, there was the League of Nations that was created to stop wars, conflicts in the world. It failed. We now have what we call the United Nations to stop or to overcome the failures of the League of Nations. The United Nations is existing, but when you go to Iraq, there was war. You go to Afghanistan, there was war. DRC Congo, there is war. Go to Liberia, there was war. All of these wars are going on, even with a very functional United Nations.
Yeah.
So ask yourself that, okay, we are using human wisdom to find solutions to the war.
Yes.
Why has the United Nations failed to bring lasting peace? Because the book is talking about sustainable peace, lasting peace. It's not just the fact that we want peace.
One area having peace while the others are having trouble.
How do we achieve sustainable peace? You achieve sustainable peace by going back to the prescription given to us by Jesus,
by Christ,
by God. That is it, because human knowledge has failed through the League of Nations. It is failing through the United Nations. We need to go beyond. And I tell persons, people think that, okay, once there is justice, there will be peace. I use a simple example, Mr. Chiangong.
Yes.
That I have a son, you have 2 daughters, and my son is wayward. He gets to your house in the night, maybe rapes one of your daughters, and you carry out investigation to discover that the person who did that is my son. What would you do? You would take my son you report my son to the gendarmes, and then it is going to end up in court, and maybe my son sentenced to 5 years or 6, 10 years. Justice has been served. But people believe that once justice is served, peace will reign. Peace will not reign, because even though justice has been served to my son who is in prison, but our 2 families would not be at peace. We will only have peace when we go beyond this justice that has been served. That is beyond the justice. Now the 2 families can see and say, oh, this guy is wrong. Can we make peace? Can you forgive me? Can you? Because without this, justice has been served. If my son is released from prison, and thinks about the pains he has gone through because of you, the cycle, it continues.
Absolutely.
And your daughters will never really be happy with my family. So though justice has been served, if we do not go beyond that, there will be no peace.
Effectivement, je suis obligé de faire un effort. Something more than justice, quelque chose au-delà de la justice. Il ne faut pas seulement penser que lorsque le tribunal a tranché, il y aura la paix au quartier. Des fois, on revient et la colère pense que peut-être la punition dépassait le crime qu'on a fait. Les rencontres entre les familles, entre les institutions, entre les individus qui ont les conflits, qui arrivent à parler du problème face à face, et comme c'est dit dans ce livre, que lorsqu'on veut résoudre un problème, tu dois marcher avec celui qui a causé le problème. Mandela a dit ça également. Pour résoudre le problème, rencontrer la personne qui a causé le problème. Si vous êtes en face de lui, ça sera difficile de résoudre le problème. Nous sommes dans un pays, notre pays souffre à cause des douleurs dans le nord-ouest et le sud-ouest et les difficultés. Et quand on dit nord-ouest et sud-ouest, tout le pays est occupé par les Camerounais qui viennent de différentes parties du monde. C'est tout le monde qui paye à partir de ces conflits. Et on pense que si on parle trop de la justice et on ne regarde pas au-delà de la justice, on va manquer beaucoup pour résoudre ce problème. Il y a un effort qui est appelé au nom de la réconciliation, la paix, de pourparler, les discussions entre les différentes personnes et les implications de ce débat de la paix à tous les niveaux. Dans ce livre, il y a une analyse du problème, il y a la prescription des solutions, mais maintenant c'est comme tu sors à l'hôpital, vous avez donné l'ordonnance, vous avez l'ordonnance, vous allez à la pharmacie, vous achetez le médicament. Il va falloir que vous fassiez un petit effort. Essayez au moins de prendre des comprimés. Maintenant, voilà, les comprimés sont ici. Est-ce que les institutions, est-ce que les personnes qui ont un rôle à jouer à tous les niveaux de notre société vont prendre la peine de lire et mettre à l'épreuve les solutions proposées par M. Koum Leonard dans ce livre, quelque chose au-delà de la justice, la route qui mène vers la paix durable, la paix durable. Alors donc c'est vraiment intéressant. Je sais que la plupart des Camerounais sont suffisamment intellectuels pour lire en anglais, en français. Je vous conseille ce livre. Et surtout, il est conseillé à toute personne qui est encadreur, enseignante, les personnes menées, les leaders de la société. Et voilà une année encore où il va falloir qu'on réfléchisse, qu'on dit, comment on voit la personne en face. Est-ce qu'aller faire des élections, c'est une guerre d'opposition ou bien c'est une lutte ensemble pour choisir la meilleure personne qui peuvent continuer à améliorer notre pays. Mr. Leonard, it would be beautiful to have this book in French. I'm sure something has to be done.
Yes, definitely I'll see. I'll make sure that
it is, you know, it's very practical. The language is simple, straightforward. The solutions are easy to see. You see your role. I mean, you start identifying even at your level as a parent, as a teacher, as a leader in the community, as a traditional head, as a mayor, as a governor, as whoever, or a minister, a politician. You start seeing. And at the end here, I would really love to read this because to me, it's the book. So be patient and enjoy this conclusion. In a world where most are hell-bent on defending their selfish interests and feeding their greed, at a time when the superpowers of the world are in an endless arms race with a drive for dominion, in a season where conflicts is a universal language and peace is an endangered species, so beautifully said, the need to return to our roots cannot be overemphasized. We have been driven by vain ambition and pride to exact violence on our fellow brothers and sisters. We have adopted intolerance as our modus operandi and driven any prospect for peaceful coexistence to the peripheries of our social fabric. In a context such as this one, there yet lingers a ray of hope. Where is it, Mr. Kum? This book serves the purpose of helping each one to appreciate the silver lining that underlines the dark cloud that now hovers over our heads. We can and will have peace if we choose peace. To speak the language of love, forgiveness, and tolerance is to speak the language of peace. Fortunately, we can learn and speak these languages in the interest of our career, aspirations, and for the good of humanity. Such a beautiful resume at the conclusion of this book. It is 159 pages in 12 chapters, split up in ways that you can read the book from the end to the beginning. You can read it from the middle left and to the right, and you can read from the beginning to the end. I mean, it is so easily digestible. It's like vegetables. Thank you, Mr. Kum. I don't know how you can make this book available to the public that is looking up to reading, you know, and I know we have provoked their appetite from different angles of the world.
The books are available in Yaoundé. Already the books are available in Bamenda and Boya in Limbe, and also we have so many copies here in Douala. Anybody who is interested in having a copy of it, you get to Mr. Chiangong.
Yes, of course.
Sure
you have the numbers on the screen.
Yeah, just indicate.
Just indicate through those numbers. Send us a WhatsApp or an SMS, and we'll bring the book to you.
We'll bring the book to you. And anyway, even if you are out of Cameroon, the book is on Amazon. Just send us, just indicate. We're going to send a link on how you can buy the book.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Leonard, for finding time to come on the Shadows. And hello, friends, Shadows. You are blessed today, and this is what Shadows is all about. Helping each other to make this journey on earth as peaceful as possible. We'll have the transition and we'll continue with the Shadows. Thank you very much for being there. Transition, please.
Okay, am I liberated?
Yes, you're liberated. Merci beaucoup. Nous sommes encore sur Shadows. Mon nom c'est Emmanuel CHIANGONG. Je suis psychologue clinicienne, clinical counselor. Je suis mind-body therapist. Et en tant que thérapeute, nous utilisons tout ce que vous voyez. Les livres dans la bibliothérapie, nous utilisons les sens dans l'aromathérapie, nous utilisons la lumière dans les énergies des couleurs, nous utilisons les sons dans les différentes fréquences d'énergie et comment ça intervient à travers notre système nerveux pour nous apaiser. Nous utilisons également les sons tibétiens. sont des sons thérapeutiques. Nous avons beaucoup d'autres différents sons en fonction de ce que nous avons à approcher. Nous utilisons les nombres des soins psychologiques, les différentes théories, le counseling et la psychothérapie. Et bien sûr, dans la psychologie somatique, nous utilisons la méditation, le yoga, et on travers les 5 sens, on peut apporter différentes solutions à vous. Hydrothérapie avec de l'eau, bien sûr la massothérapie avec les touchés, et les techniques énergétiques de respiration interviennent dans les différents soins que nous utilisons. Like I said, you can reach us through the numbers on your screen. You can send us SMS, you can send us WhatsApp. My name is Emmanuel CHIANGONG. You have it on the screen. I'm a clinical counselor and a mind-body therapist. And of course, these are the different therapeutic tools we use. In books, we do bibliotherapy. We equally do sound therapies, the energies of colors through light therapy. We use essence, you have them there, essential oils. We use aromatherapy, touch therapy through massage, meditation, yoga and qigong. These are different energy exercises, help to balance the nervous system, improve your health, and of course keep you in the fitness mood. And we will continue to discuss the topic no. No, of course, has become your friend and not your enemy. You should say not no, but you say no, 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 no. On a deep no, on the no, 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 no. Yes, this is the moment when you realize that money cannot buy anything. À ce moment, on se rend compte avec le non que l'argent ne peut pas tout acheter. When you say yes, it undermines your integrity and depletes your energy. And this yes, when you are supposed to say no, has played heavily in the corporate world and in the political circles. And of course, it affects the women more. They say yes when they are supposed to say no, because they want acceptation, affirmation, and approval. They are afraid to displease. We are looking on the outside for the 3 A's: affirmation, approval, acceptation. The people pleasing is a common and systematic problem among the girls and the women. You should learn to say no. If you change your mind later, okay, you can reconsider, but start by saying no. And if you think that you are going to displease, then of course, you should know when to use the shield and you should know when to use your sword. Then you should also understand that the guilt and the pain, the anxiety will bring mental issues. The depression will completely distort your abilities to live and fulfill your mission here on earth. In political circles, the women are compromised. In corporate circles, the women are compromised because they think that they have to please their superiors or those who they believe have their future in their hands. Des fois, dans les milieux corporate et dans les milieux politiques, beaucoup plus les filles et les femmes pensent qu'ils doivent faire à tout prix pour qu'on les accepte. Ils cherchent l'affirmation de l'autre, ils cherchent l'approbation de l'autre. On n'a pas besoin, on parle des A, acceptation, affirmation, approbation, des 3 A. On fait tout pour plaire à l'autre, même à notre risque et péril. Ce n'est pas approprié. Dans les milieux professionnels, vous avez les compétences, il faut accepter de dire non. Non, il faut dire non si le salaire dans cette négociation n'est pas bon. Commencez à négocier. Le salaire que vous a proposé, si vous estimez que vous méritez mieux, négociez. Si on ne vous donne pas, on peut quand même vous dire ça viendra. On saura que vous avez accepté celui-là sur une condition et qu'il y a voie pour amélioration. Et vos performances vont venir appuyer votre requête et vous allez réussir. Donc, il est important qu'on fasse des recherches sur le nom qui affirme, le nom qui renforce notre psychologie, le nom qui des limites autour de nous, gère mieux nos espaces, nos énergies et notre temps. Le nom qui dégage les poubelles, les nuisibles autour de nous, qui éloigne les interruptions inhabituées. On n'est pas obligé de décrocher le fil. You are not obliged to pick the call. Tell no. You are not obliged to answer the call. Tu n'es pas obligé de décrocher l'appel. On peut attendre. On peut savoir que tu n'es pas disponible. It is very important that we reflect on these aspects of our journey through the world of yes, yes, yes when it is not appropriate. And we to learn to say no and regenerate. Learn to stand for yourself, for your true values. Learn to know your true worth and to market it for your success and for your achievements and for the realization of your dreams. Apprendre à découvrir qui véritablement vous êtes. Apprendre à reconnaître la grâce que vous êtes venus avec. Apprendre à vous voir à travers vos propres moyennes, vos propres appréciations. Accepter le défi et aller là-bas prouver vos mérites et réaliser votre rêve. Le nom est saint, le nom est divin aussi. Dieu a dit non à son Fils Jésus. Le nom est accepté. Le non n'est pas un tabou. Et on a dit, si tu as l'habitude de dire oui, 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 le jour où tu vas dire non, ça sera comme si la foudre va descendre sur vous, mais c'est le début de votre révélation. Et la grâce que vous portez va bénir notre communauté. We will move now through the transition to our meditation on the no. We'll do a short meditation on the no. On va faire la petite méditation sur le non. Nous sommes en train d'arriver à la fin de l'émission et avec la méditation sur le non, nous allons nous séparer pour un autre moment de méditation sur le non qui sauve, qui guérit, qui bénit, qui prospère. So we'll move on after the short transition to the meditation. And the meditation will be on the no that heals, the no that liberates, the no that enhances, the no that is bliss, that takes us to our dreams, that make them come true. So you come to the front. Let us have the full screen, please. You come to the front of your seat and you sit comfortably with your feet on the ground. Those who can sit in the special asana posture, you can as well do it. And you are sitting on the floor with your legs crossed, you can do it. If you're on the chair, you can as well do it. Choisissez la posture qui est convenable pour vous, au sol, sur la moquette, sur votre chaise, selon ce qui vous convient. Et bien sûr, vos pieds calmes, votre regard apaisé. Et nous allons commencer la méditation avec le son que vous allez écouter. Détendez-vous, souriez, and you just relax. And you breathe in slowly, and you breathe out slowly. And let the smile spread on your face. Keep smiling and keep breathing slowly and deeply. And let your mind float over the discussion on the no that heals, the no that blesses, the no that liberates, the no that enhances, the no that lifts you with the wind and takes you to the dreams and the goals that you have set for yourself. Breathe in slowly, release your shoulders and breathe out. Yes, you can say no. Yes, you can say no. Yes, it is healthy. It is nice. It is holy. It is divine to say no when truly that is what is right for you. Liberate yourself from the yes that is unhealthy, the yes that gives you joy for a moment and pain forever, the yes that compromises your integrity, the yes that lowers your self-esteem. Say no to that yes. Say no to that yes. Say no to that yes. Say no to that yes that makes you feel small, timid, shy, and out of phase. Say no with a smile. Say no without guilt. Say no without fear. Say no with joy. Say no, 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 because it is no. It is beautiful to say no. It is uplifting to say no. It is great to say no. It is wonderful to say no, because deep in you, you know the answer is no, no, no. Let the music keep dying down slowly, and slowly let the music die down. As you breathe in, slowly open your eyes and welcome to the end of shadows as you meditate into a beautiful sleep this night, as you continue to say no to the things that bring worry, sadness, anxiety to your life, because you are special. Thank you, Mr. Desley and his team, for the technical support. I want to thank Mr. Leona once more, the Managing Director of BT Media Group, who came personally to highlight the journey to lasting peace in the book, Something More Than Justice. We want to thank all of you televiewers who stayed in the evening to watch the journey and the therapeutic journey with the shadows. I want to thank all my clients on therapy, because through the exploration of your pain, we have developed knowledge and recognition to be able to discuss healing messages with people who can be very close to us and who can benefit. I want to thank all of you who are therapists, working as clinical counselors, psychologists, psychotherapists, social workers, of course, medical doctors, massage therapists, all of you sports therapists who bring well-being and who take away the pain that brings misery in our lives, who give us the drive to get up each day and walk. Let us smile.